Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes. It's night 1985. Why don't you take a walk with me? All right, let's take a walk together. You know, I live at 98th and Broadway, and you know, I like to drink down on the Lower East Side in the East Village at around 10th Street, around 8th Street, 1st Street, First Avenue, that is to say, down by Tompkins Square Park. Well, one of my favorite bars down here is, as you know, is the WXOQLMFT bar with the radio call letters that I can never quite remember. Right near that is another one of my favorite bars, the Wooden Bar. Beatrice and I love to go to the Wooden Bar. That's a nice place. Right over here by Tompkins Square Park, a pretty scary park. Right over here by Tompkins Square Park is the Horseshoe Bar. Oh, yes, that's a really cool place. Yes. But this particular night, I'm in the Wooden Bar. And it's time to go home. So let's take a little walk together. I leave the Wooden Bar down there on First Avenue, and I walk up First Avenue to 14th Street. Then you pass Dan Lynch's, just south of 14th Street. Dan Lynch's. Yes, where you can see an amazing blues performance by Lovette Jackson, if you're lucky. Yes. And you go up to 14th Street, and you turn and you walk over a little bit to get over there to Broadway. Okay, now we're at 14th and Broadway, and I live at 98th and Broadway, right? So that's around 80 and change blocks. That's around 4 miles and change. It's about a block a minute when you walk, if you don't dawdle too much. So it's about an hour and a half walk every night when I can make this trek home from the Lower East Side to the Upper West Side, yes. And I do prefer to walk. Sometimes I take the subway, as you know. Sometimes I sleep the whole way there. And back. I know. So then you walk up Broadway. And 14th, it's a series of different neighborhoods as you go up Broadway. And it's good neighborhood, creepy neighborhood, scary neighborhood, fine neighborhood, bright neighborhood, scary empty neighborhood. Yes, you never know. Well, yes, you do. You eventually get used to it. So at about 14th Street up to around 20th or 22nd or 3rd Street, there's plenty of shops on Broadway. There's emporiums and whatnot shops and boutiques. There's restaurants, there's pubs, and there's bars. You get up to about 23rd Street. That's where the Flatiron Building is. Yeah, that's over here at Broadway and Fifth Avenue. Sort of get pretty close to each other. And the Flatiron Building is this huge triangle-shaped building, shaped like a flat iron. Yeah, it's not named after Mr. Flatiron. It's named after its shape. Yes, so that's around 23rd Street. It's a beautiful building. But then the 20s is a little bit darker. It is until you get up to the 30s. Then there's Herald Square. And then you try and remember somebody because of the song, Remember Me at Herald Square. So I try and remember somebody whenever I go to Herald Square. And then I say, I remembered you at Herald Square. And there is the Empire State Building. Yes. And that's just over there. You can see it. It's just so beautiful. The king was up there. And you continue your walk, and then you go through the 30s, the Garment District. This is one of the scariest parts of the walk up Broadway because there's nobody there. It's dark, and it's empty, and it's quiet, and it's terrifying. Now, here's the thing. When you walk around Manhattan, there's usually random zombies walking around. It's fine. But when there's nobody around, then there's no witnesses. gets a little bit scarier. It's the wolf you don't see. That's the one you have to worry about. Yes. So you just walk straight and sure and sharp when you're going through the garment district. Then you get to the upper 30s and the lower 40s, and we're getting to be Midtown. Plenty of light, plenty of activity. Not nearly as scary for the rest of the walk home. It's fantastic. Wait a minute though. This is the Times Square of 1985. Yes, and the Times Square of 1985 is littered with litter. Yes, it's sort of a horrible place. Every other shop is a dirty bookstore. Every other shop is a naked store of some nature where you can go in and have visits from actual individuals. Yes, it's terrifying. I wouldn't go into one of those places. I didn't have the nerve. Are you out of your mind? Uh, um, and there's threatening prostitutes and threatening drug dealers all up and down 42nd Street. Ay, 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 ay. It's terrifying. But this, after you get to 43rd and stuff, even back in the 80s, there's that's when you get the part of New York that you get pictures of. Yes. And here's the Broadway theaters and the Broadway cinemas right next to the Broadway porno cinemas. Yes, you can see Tootsie right next door to the theater where you can see Deep Throat. Yes, only on Broadway, only in Manhattan. And it's loaded with people. Even at 2:30 in the morning, there's people roaming around. There's an arcade over there called Fascination. This is right at the beginning of the Pac-Man era, so there's actually mostly actual pinball machines in that arcade called Fascination. Yes, yes, indeed, it's fantastic. So you continue walking up, and you get to the and there's all night pizza parlors. Oh, you can get a pizza at any time of day or night there. It's just great at like 47th or something in Broadway. It's just great. Then you get up to 50th Street, 51st Street, and here we are at the Winter Garden Theater. Yes, the Winter Garden Theater where all the Jellicle cats come out. Yes, and it's my home base. And I feel safe as houses when I'm in this part of town. I usually get out a cigarette and stand there in front of the Winter Garden Theater there. Yeah, yeah, I work here. I work here at the Winter Garden Theater. Oh yeah, Groucho Marx worked here in the old days. Oh yeah, Maurice Chevalier. Yeah, Al Jolson used to work here. Now I'm working here. Uh huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am. Anyhow, then you continue your walk up Broadway. Oh, and you look up Broadway, and there is a digital clock up there at 57th or 59th or something like that street, so that you can see the the clock at all hours when you're getting to work. You glance up there, oh, it's just glorious. And what's the temperature too? Fantastic. So you walk up through the 50s and through the 60s. Now there's a lot of bars. There's a lot of emporiums. You get up to the 60s. Oh, and there's Lincoln Center. It's a block or so, a couple blocks over that way. Lincoln Center isn't really right at Broadway, but the fountain is over there, and if you veer over, you can see it. Sometimes the fountain runs all night. Not very often. Sometimes it's just during the evenings, during the shows. And you're walking up to the lower 70s. You get to 72nd Street. That's another hub of the city. Yes. And there, 73rd Street is Gray's Papaya. That's where you get something to eat. That's where Gray's Papaya sells hot dogs and papaya juice. And that's it. So I would stop in there, after a little bit of a walk, after a little bit of drinking. You need a little something in your stomach, so you get a couple of hot dogs. They're 75 cents each, 2 hot dogs, and you got a meal. I'll take one with cigarette and one without. I mean, yeah, I already told you about that. Anyhow, and so you get a couple of hot dogs, you inhale those delicious things, um, and then you walk up 73rd. There's Needle Park. Yes. Uh, Sheridan Square. There's a Sheridan Square Park, and it's called Needle Park back in the 70s because of all the heroin needles from all the drug addicts strewn about the place. Yes. You walk up into the 80s, and now after through the 80s and the 90s, it's pretty much just like any city. Plenty of emporiums. It begins to calm down. It's a little bit quieter until you get up to the mid 90s and 96th Street, and that's another hub of the city. 97th Street, there's Empire Szechuan Gourmet. Yes. 94th Street. Oh, I used to live right over here on 94th Street, just right here. I don't live there anymore. That's where Weasel and his sweetheart are living. Yes. I don't go over there. I live up here at 98th and Broadway now. And you get up there, and there's the Red Apple supermarket right in my block, in my very block. It's fantastic. Um, the supermarket right there. I used to go over there with my meager pittance and weep as I walked up and down the aisles. I would just try and get the basics, you know what I mean? My basics were usually bread, broccoli, and bananas. That's what I would get: bread, broccoli, and bananas, or sometimes bagels, broccoli, and bananas. Yeah, when I wasn't buying booze, or the other B in my food groups. Uh, anyhow, and right next door to the Red Apple supermarket was a little laundry service. You can take in your 2 week bag of laundry, and the next day they'd return it to you in your laundry bag, washed and folded. Oh, it was fantastic. It cost about $7 for a load of laundry, which in 1985 was sort of expensive when you could get your whole laundry done for a couple of bucks at the laundry mat. Yeah, but it was worth every penny. You just pick it up the next day. Thank you. Fantastic. And then here I am on 98th Street. I walk around to the front of the building. There's this beautiful building, and I would stand out in front and look at it. And I look up there at the ninth floor. You can see Pamela's window sometimes. The light was on. I could come over. The way the building is shaped, I had to peek. You could kind of see. You could kind of see my room, the light. I always had a funny colored light. There's a blue light. Oh, there's a blue light. It's on. That's my room up there. Yeah. Then I'd go on in, and there's the doorman, Mickey. Great big guy, super friendly, always attentive. How you doing tonight? I'm doing great. How you doing? I'm doing great. All right, you be safe now, he'd say. All right. And I'd go in the elevator. It was an advance. It was not an Otis. It was an advance elevator. Yes. So I always address it properly. Advance, ninth floor, please. And then I'd go on up to my apartment. He'd go up to the ninth floor. 9C was my beloved apartment there. And a little tiny lobby there with 2 rooms, 9C and 9B. And we had a lovely next door neighbor, Vicky 9B. Oh, yes. She was very cosmic and terribly, terribly beautiful. Yes, she was our next door neighbor. It was lovely to have such a cosmic and an amazing individual right next door. And so now I'm back home. So thanks for taking that walk with me from downtown. Now you know what it's like to walk up Broadway. Right. Takes about an hour and a half, as I said. It's a lovely walk. All right. Now, meanwhile, back at the Winter Garden Theater, Jellicle Cats is having its 1,000th performance. Yes. And so they're throwing a great big party over here at the Hard Rock Cafe up on 57th Street. Everybody in the Winter Garden organization is invited, of course. Everyone from the top all the way down, and so I'm allowed to bring a +1. So I call up Beatrice. How would you like to go to a big fancy party for 1,000th performance of Cats at the Hard Rock Cafe? She was thrilled. So, of course, she's going to show up that night. Now, it's a Wednesday night. Excuse me, I'm going to take a little sip of beverage here. Thank you. Wait a minute. Watch this here. Watch what? Oh, yes, I had to clear my throat. I'm back. All right. So Beatrice showed up a little bit before closing time, a little bit before the last sales period, when the audience files out, and we have one last uh, frenzy, storm at sea, selling some more programs and some more T-shirts, selling a couple more programs, selling a couple more T-shirts, a couple of sweatshirts, and then you balance the books. We don't restock the cart at the end of the night. On a night like this where we're going to take off, we can restock the cart first thing because we get here an hour early. It'll be fine. But we do have to balance the books every night and send that report up to CT. Yes. So we're usually the last ones to leave the building because we've got to go that last sales period. Right. So anyhow, everybody takes off. We finish up, close up, lock up and everything. And now we're out. We're out. It's always so exciting when you leave work. And the Hard Rock Cafe is just up at 57th Street. And we're over here at 51st. So we're just going to walk up. Beezus and I. Yeah. So I've got my opera pipe, my little Zeppelin. So we smoke some reefer on the way up. And it's just a few blocks. And we take our time and we get up to the Hard Rock Cafe. And you go on in. And it is a celebration. It is. Now, right now, in 1985, there's a dozen or so Hard Rock cafes sprinkled around the country. And around the world, there's probably even a couple more, yes. But you go in there and it says, oh, look, here's some famous person. There's Elvis's guitar. Or there's Elvis's jacket. Or, Michael's glove. Or somebody's hat. Or somebody's set of drumsticks or something, and you're going, how many of these things are real? Anyhow, it's a big celebration going on. Everybody from the Winter Garden, all the stars, all the stars of the musical, and they're plus ones. And I'm there with Beatrice, and the Hard Rock is all done up. There's another level up there, tables and people. There's a huge buffet. And there's CT and Cookie Crazy Janie and all of the staff. The bartenders are all there. Leonardo is even there. And Kathy's there. Yes. And we're all celebrating. And CT says, come with me. And I go, yes. And so we go into the bathroom and climb into a stall and snort illicit powder. Yes. And you ever go into the bathroom at Hard Rock Cafe? The stalls are big enough for 4 or 5 people. Yeah, because they're not, you don't really use them to go to the bathroom. They use them so that you can do illicit contraband materials. Yes. So we go in there a couple of times and we come back out. Meanwhile, Beezus and Cookie Crazy Janie went into the ladies' room, and Beezus comes out and she says, you should see how big the booths are. I said the same thing over here. He said, they also got beautiful furniture and a sofa. I said, that's in the ladies' room. We don't have a sofa in the filthy men's room, right? Anyhow, after you do illicit contraband substances like that, you hit the dance floor. Yes. So Beatrice and I and CT and Cookie Crazy Janie and some of the gang all hit the dance floor. It was lovely. Lovely time we had. I was trying to be restrained. I didn't want to do too much broken puppet or anything. I just did a little broken puppet, of course, but I kept it down. I did the Kentucky Stomp and the Ohio Hop, which, as we all know, is a little bit more reserved. Yes. So after a while, we're hitting the dance floor. CT's like, come with me. And then we go back into the John, into the booth, and then we come back out. And that was going on all night long. Well, here's the thing about cocaine. It makes it so that you're not interested in eating food. However, I'm an actor at heart, and it is so difficult for an actor to pass up free food at a buffet. It's almost impossible. Plus, I was kind of hungry. So, illicit contraband material or not, I was going to take advantage of that buffet. So I went on over there this one time. Yes. And there's Rodney, the ticket-taking guy. This hilarious guy, this wiry dude. He's very funny. He's got his mustache, and he's really wiry, and he's a street tough. Yeah, he's real funny. I like this guy. We get along very well. And I'm like, ooh, look at the buffet. Oh, oysters on the half shell. I've never had those. He says, well, here, I'll tell you what to do. This is how you take them. And I'm like, uh-oh. He's gonna explain something to me. He's gonna explain how to eat food to me. Yeah, I know. I'm not familiar, and the term mansplaining hasn't even been coined yet, but I'm about to be mansplained how to eat an oyster, I can tell. So what you do is, he says, you take the oyster in the clamshell, and I said, it's an oyster shell. Oh yeah, in the oyster shell, and you drench it in the sauce. And I say, you drench it in the sauce. He says, yeah, you drench it in the sauce. And then you shoot the whole thing back, you slurp it on down, and swallow it all in one go. Boom. And I'm like, and you just swallow it. You don't even taste it. He goes, oh yeah, that way you don't have to deal with the disgusting snotty texture. And I'm going, disgusting? If it's disgusting, why are you eating it? He says, because they're oysters. They're great. And I go, yeah, but you don't even taste them. He says, yeah, because they're terrible. Who wants that? That's disgusting. And I'm like, so you really like the sauce? Oh yeah, the sauce is great. That's the best part. I say, I don't understand or even believe in eating something without tasting it. He says, just have an oyster. I said, okay, I'm going to have it without the sauce. And so I did. I took it as a thing, just in the shell, and slurped it on down. And then I made a point to chew on it. Well, here's the deal. And swallow it. Chew on it, chew it on down, and swallow it. Here's the deal. It's kind of rubbery. It is more about texture than about flavor. Now, I've had smoked oysters. Yeah, I've had deviled clams. Not the same thing, I understand. However, I've enjoyed those very well. This rubbery raw oyster, I said, well, I'm going to have another one just to give it its due because I'm still not sure. It tastes a little bit like seafood, which I like very well. A little bit salty. Hey, let's have another one. And I do. And I say, all right, we've had that. Now I know that I don't have to have any more. I'm going to have some of that roast beast. So then I had a lovely plate of food. Went back in and out of the bathroom several more times for the rest of the night. Hit the dance floor a few more times. All the cats were there, and I got to talk and meet to some of the cats, the mysterious Bombalurina. Many of the cats were just so incredibly nice and sweet and beautiful that I was semi-crushing on all of them, and they were in their finery. And there's one crush that I really had on one of the dancers. Her name was Etc. Oh, and I got to meet her. I even got to kiss her hand. I asked if I could kiss her hand. She said yes. Anyhow, it was a fantastic party at the Hard Rock Cafe. Yeah. And we eventually had to take off because it was getting very late. So Beatrice and I went back to my apartment, to 98th and Broadway. We didn't get to sleep right away. Yeah, I know. Because of all that cocaine. Right. All right. So if you've ever had raw oysters, comment. Right. If you've ever been to Gray's Papaya, comment. Yeah. If you've ever been to the Flatiron Building, tell me what it was like. I never went in. All right. Hey, listen. Thank you for coming along this journey with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, there's more to come. Yes, there is. You'll never guess what happens next.